Welcome to the Hill Country Nation Sports Wrap-Up for episode 5 here on July the 21st, 2022. And that only means one thing. Trey, what is it all about?
It's almost that time for Hill Country Sports Wrap-Up Show, baby. We're 12 days away from, I used to call it 2 days, but I don't even know they're allowed to do 2 days anymore. I was looking at some of these schedules. I'm like, oh my God, I wish I had this schedule back when I was in high school, 1 a day and stuff. But, you know, UIL changed the rules and everything. But, man, we're 12 days away from football players reporting. Summer is over, and we're there, baby. As you can hear my dog in the background being all pissed off.
Yeah, because she's biting at the chomps, ready for 2 days to start. And then all of a sudden, you know, 4th of July, once 4th of July hits, it's like that's our signal. As soon as July 5th hits, it's like right there on time.
Vacation's over. It's over with. But, man, I have a little buddy with me today.
Hey, what is going on? Hey, you better give Uncle JR some bump. Come on. Get some Uncle JR bump.
Like this. She's shy on camera, apparently.
What? I see you on Facebook all the time.
Oh, I know. And she makes me like, picture, Daddy, picture. But, man, I'm excited about this guest, man. He's turned this Ingram program around.
I tell you what, yeah, he's been getting people fired up all the way around. We are talking about none other than this guy right here, the new athletic director for going on his second year. And in Ingram, man, he loves to give away prizes too, and not so shy. I mean, on the camera, well, sometimes it was hard to kind of find some pics of him. He's not only a head coach and an athletic director, but he's a family man, husband, father, and of course, he is got a house already in Kerrville. So you know that means that he is staying for quite some time. We're talking about none other than Tate Masco. What's going on, Tate?
What's up, fellas? How y'all doing tonight?
Man, if I was telling you, we're doing good, hanging in there anyway. Well, Coach, first of all, we want to just say we are humbled, man. We are so thankful that you come to the show. You bring a whole different light when it comes to not only on a show like this, but at the same time on the radio and, of course, Hill Country Nation Game of the Week. But we got some questions we're going to ask you and just kind of go from there. But first of all, before we start, are you ready for 2 days?
I think we're ready. We finished camp today. We had a good number there all summer. Got our skill sets in and our weights. You know, one of the things we evaluated after the season last year was we had a bunch of injuries. And so I can't praise Adam Brackeen and Joel Hinton enough for what they've done in the weight room and the program they put together for us. And our kids look different, you know. And so we're hoping that finishing through the summer and now getting this little break before we get going again is going to refresh them and we can hit it running.
You last year you had a young team, a few seniors, you know, but overall bringing them up in 1 year of the program. Well, what do you expect out of the ones that the players that have been there last year, and for the seniors, how to step up?
Yeah, I mean, and I can't say enough about this senior class that was juniors last year. I mean, they've pretty much taken this thing over and starting to lead us, and they've really made a commitment to be a part of our program and lead the young ones. And the young ones are, you know, pretty talented, and so, you know, they have a little bit of a voice. But what we're really excited about is we're starting to back class with class with class. So if you look at our 8th graders, you look at our 7th graders going to be in, and our 9th graders, we're pretty excited about what, you know, we're starting to stack some classes on top of each other, and there's going to be some talent, you know. And one of our goals is we want to get to a place where we're worried about people catching us, not us being the chasers. And right now we're the chasers. We want to be the ones where people are chasing us. We want to be able to sit in a staff meeting and talk about complacency and things like that. And, hey, what are those people over there doing to catch us? And so we feel like here in these next several years that we're going to get to that point. And, you know, but I can't say enough about those guys last year, that first team we went through. I mean, just change is hard for everybody, and they started figuring us out, and we kind of figured them out, and we figured out we needed to coach a little bit better and make a little bit better adjustments and things like that. So I can't thank that senior class last year for enough for what they did for us, and we're excited moving forward.
Oh, I get to actually ask a question now. This is awesome. Okay.
Oh my gosh, you do that all the time. Why, man? Come
You do it
on.
all the time,
I
too.
got the gift of gab, but I go every now and then.
I know I have to walk out on you half the time. Coach, thank you again for joining us. As people may know, we tried to do this last year. You were our first and only guest last year, as JR skipped out on us and had other things going on.
I don't know what you're talking about.
But
I do apologize again, Coach.
yeah, Coach, you're also a great interview. Thank you for calling in for Friday Night Lights. Every time we needed you to call in, you always called in. Bring the publicity back to Ingram where it should be focused on, just not all about Kerrville, Tybee. Where people forget there's Ingram out there as well too, and they need to recognize this Ingram squad. Thanks to you and your coaching staff, like you said, I think you started a 14-year-old quarterback last year. Just talk about how he's going to improve this year from what he learned last year, and how that 1 year in the varsity level actually helps them progress through the next 3 years.
And it's not just the sole focus on him. I mean, you look at all the spots. A lot of our spots where the ball was getting touched last year were all young. So you expect all of them to be better and familiarity with what we're doing, what we're trying to accomplish, how we're attacking coverages, how we're defending different sets, things like that should be better for all those young kids. I mean, I think there was almost 8 or 9 of them that played last year a bunch. And so we're expecting them, we view them as juniors, not sophomores right now. It's almost like a COVID year in college. You see all these guys that keep playing over and over, and you're like, is that guy ever going to get out of here? Well, that's what we're hoping is going to start happening. Like, that guy, how long has he been at Ingram? Well, so we're expecting all of them to be a lot better and produce for us, not just Aiden. So, we also going to, Sage Kanisi got hurt early last year and never really got in the mix, and he's kind of back in the mix. And he went to the Todd Dodge camp a couple weeks ago. We sent him, and he came back with numerous awards. I mean, sitting out there watching him throw the ball today, I'm like, whoa. So, he's going to be in that battle and that mix too, which gives us some much needed depth as we move forward. So, all those kids, our expectations are a little higher for them, and so now it's time for them to get it done.
You have like Kanesi that I mean, he was a beast, and because of the injury, it was limited and stuff, and came back. But you kind of got your lightning and thunder of quarterback with Rendon and also with Kanesi, so it's kind of like pick your poison. But you got Hightower, and he's returning, and that kid not only can play football, he can play baseball, he can play basketball. Shoot, if you put him in a water polo contest, he's going to be giving it all. Talk about someone like that just is someone special that can just help lead your team.
Right. Oh, Kai is ultra talented. I mean, as you look at him, he has so many different skill sets. As we discuss what we're going to do on offense and things like that. The comparison we always give him is a Deebo Samuel type. We need to be able to get him in the backfield. We need to be able to split him out. We've got to figure out ways to get him touches in space. But you can't find a better kid than Kai Hightower. I mean, sometimes he's a little grumpy, but most of the time he's got a little smile on his face and he works, and he has the potential, and there's a couple of juniors still, being recruited right now, or these seniors that are this year that are going to be recruited. But Kai has a chance to go somewhere, somewhere between a Division II, 1AA school, and I mean, when I had an interview a couple weeks ago, it's pretty rare for a freshman to get unanimous 2-3A player of the year in a district with Sonora, Ballinger, Brady, Bangs. That's a pretty good deal. So we're pretty excited he's with us. Now it's our job as coaches to figure out how to get the ball to him in space and line him, and set him up for us to make some big plays. So, and the thing about it is he jumps off on defense too. If you watch him from the secondary, he shows up in a hurry. And when he gets there, there's normally a collision. So, that whole sophomore group is just, they're talented. They could play at a lot of different places, not just Ingram, but they could play at a lot of different places.
Well, let's stick with that schedule a little bit. Like you mentioned, last year's district, the Sonoras, the Bangs. This year, realignment, not in your district anymore. But I'm looking at it. That's a tough district.
Yeah, no doubt. Yeah, no doubt. Everybody from top to bottom is talented and well coached. You go down the list, and the crazy thing is the coaching world is so so weird that you've had times where you've run into these guys and played against them at different levels, but now they're where they're at, and so there's some familiarity there in what we do and how they do. We have an opponent in our district that actually set in when we were at Reagan on our Zoom meetings during COVID, and now we've got a plane, and he's doing a lot of the same things on offense that we're doing. And I finally put that together at the district track meet. I was like, oh man, we let you, in our Zoom meetings, and here we go. But the district is going to be tough, and on that realignment day it was icy, and we couldn't get down to the region center, and so there we are in my house, and I got everybody off the internet. Nobody can get on the internet. No games being played, nothing. And when it came out, I guess you kind of look at it and you go, oh man. And then reality sets in. And it's like, okay, we didn't come here just to try to sneak in the playoffs. We came in here to get in the playoffs. And if we're going to be the program we want to be, then we need to be able to beat these guys that are on our schedule. And that's what we're trying to do.
Looking at your pre-district, Stockdale been making the playoffs for I don't know how many years in a row. Played Comfort 3 years ago, and they have a young squad that has now come up in the program as well. It's always a big rivalry when you're taking on the Comfort Bobcats. I love the Highway 27 rivalry. I just wish that they could find the helmet, or maybe we got to get a new helmet. But that every year they used to play for a helmet. And that was the win. You win it, you got the helmet for the year. So we got to figure something out. It's always tough against the Harper Longhorns. It doesn't matter one level, 1A down. They always come tough. San Angelo TLCA has been a group that's up and coming, but you just never can tell. But when it gets to your district, you've got Cole, very beatable. Luling, it depends on where they're at during the year. Randolph can be pretty tough, but then you got Marion, Blanco, and Llano, and those are the three at the bottom there that are the toughest. Talk about your pre-district, because it's going along with what you have in district on the different styles of play.
Yeah, and there's probably some people upset that we got rid of some games that had happened for a long time, but we felt as a program, if we were going to move forward, we needed to schedule and play a little different non-district. And so, as you said, Coach King at Stockdale's done a tremendous job with them. I mean, they got beat by Franklin last year, I think, in the second round of the playoffs, and Franklin won the whole deal. And so they're coming down, and I think that, that they're going to have a really good quarterback back and several key players. So it's going to be a good test for us. We compare them a lot to Randolph with the quarterback situation they have at Stockdale and Randolph. Playing Comfort, I guess it was probably 2 or 3 weeks after I got this job. I called Brandon. I said, Brandon, we need to play this game. That was one of the questions in the interview whenever I got this job was, are we going to play Comfort again? And I said, well, I can try to make that happen. And we didn't know if we could quite make it happen, and then we figured out a way to make it happen. So we're excited. Brandon has helped me tremendously through this year. He always a call away and say, Coach, how do you handle this? What are we doing? And so I have a tremendous amount of respect for Coach, and so we're going to get that rivalry going. And then Harper, we always joke with Coach Zinner. Coach Zinner's dad was at Fredericksburg, and then Coach Hinton was at Tybee. And I don't know if y'all know this, but Chad and his little brother would play the two Hinton twins and touch football in the end zone during the Fredericksburg Tybee game. And they still argue about who won. We were out here at 7-on-7 a couple weeks ago, and they're both arguing about who won the game each year when that happens. And so, that's such a good game. There's such a good program. Chad runs a good program, and those guys out there coach really well. So it's a tough game for us, and it's close. And so we're not having to travel. And then San Angelo TLCA kind of fell in my lap. In fact, me and my son were sitting in here last year, I guess, about this time, and he called. And he said, I want to play. I'm starting up a program kind of like you are, and we're similar. And so my little 7-year-old grabbed the Dave Campbell's and turns to San Angelo TLCA, and he's kind of standing right over there, and he's looking at me and going, "Yeah, they're 1-9. Let's play them."
Awesome.
And so he kind of suckered me into that game. But it was one of those deals where it was San Angelo TLCA or Mason, and we were real close to playing Mason week 4, and so we went ahead and went to San Angelo TLCA, and I told Coach McLeod, call me here in a couple of years.
Yeah.
I'll go ahead and schedule you and play you. But that's kind of how it worked out. I think it's a good competitive schedule for us to get us ready for district. We had to move away from some of the teams that they'd been playing here for a while, just to get us ready for the Marions, the Blancos, the Randolphs, the Lanos of the world. And so we need a little tougher challenge. And I'm not here for my win-loss record. I'm here to get these guys in the playoffs. And if we take, some lumps early, we'll be ready when we get to district. If we come out and handle our business, then we should be just fine. So that's the way we kind of view it, kind of like the old Mark Smith era at Tybee. They used to play Madison, Steele, and those people in non-district.
Yep.
And so we kind of have the same philosophy. We want to play some good teams early, and we want to see where we're at so we can fix what we need to fix.
Well,
Trey, I got a break.
Oh, no.
Go ahead. Go for it.
Go ahead. No, I wasn't going to ask a question. I was going to say he must be watching the podcast, because that's my last question I always ask the coaches. Do you like the tougher district or non-district schedule than the softer one?
Yeah.
Get your team ready for district. And you answered it brilliantly. And so go ahead and take us a break, JR. Whatever.
But what you're saying, Trey, is a lot, because I know a lot of people want to bring back the Mason rivalry from way back in the day. They want to bring back the Bandera, where I guess they played for I want to say a hatchet, or maybe it was an axe. I can't remember, but that's how it used to be back in the day. Bandera, Mason, and then of course Comfort. Everybody else, it didn't matter, because it was like Ingram and those other three, same district at those times, and going to the playoffs, there's always a battle between 1, 2, and 3 who's going to make it.
Right.
But Coach Damasco, you answered that. It's going to happen at some point, and it'll be great to see Bandera Mason back on the schedule for sure. All right, let's go ahead and take a quick break right here, and let's get on it. For over 15 years, Angela Walters has been in the real estate business. She works very hard to pay attention to details and delivers the very best level of service to each and every important customer. Angela is great at negotiations. She helps with staging your property, problem solving if necessary, and she has aggressive marketing skills. Selling real estate has been a job Angela Walters has enjoyed since she was 19 years old. The Hill Country is Angela's home and knows where to find those hidden gems. Whether you are selling your home or looking to buy the home of your dreams, then look no further than Angela Walters, Realtor. Angela Walters of Kerrville Remax knows that it's easy to sell something you love so much. License 653731. Welcome back here after a nice quick little break. Comes to our favorite part of the time. Of course, all of it's favorite, with Coach Damasco, but we get an opportunity to kind of get to know a little bit more about Coach Damasco, what you may and may not know. And I'm going to let Trey start this one off here.
I'm glad you said. First off, I want people watching, because I know there's a lot of people watching. I'll just check the views. There's a lot of people watching out there.
But do we have any comments? I haven't seen any comments.
Well, Ashley Damasco Jefferson says, "Go Warriors." But I was going to tell all those viewers, if you want to know a little bit more about Coach Damasco, type it in the comment section. I'll read it out loud, and he'll answer it right here and then. If you want to know anything about your head football coach. But, Coach, I personally want to know, Thursday night, right before the big game on Friday Night Lights, you eat the same dinner that you do every single week?
No, not really. And it's just basically what time this middle school or JV game gets over. It depends on what's open. I mean, that's one of the adjustments moving back to Kerrville. Everything closes at 9:00. So,
yes.
To be honest with you, Thursday night's probably a Chick-fil-A or Taco Casa night.
Hey,
what
Go home and watch college or the NFL game.
What about game day? You know, like you have a game day lunch, the same lunch, like same sandwich and chips and drink or whatever.
No, so on game day, don't really eat that much. They'll bring some breakfast tacos. I'll eat one of those while I'm finishing up the call sheet, and then from there on out, it's probably not very much eating until we get done. You know, normally I get a nice little meal from the concession stand. They'll leave it on my desk, but after the game, but there's not much eating going on Friday.
Nothing like a cold cheeseburger.
Yeah.
Those Sonic cheeseburgers that you get after every time you come home.
I
Like
do.
all these towns we go to, all these restaurants that we don't have in Kerrville. Hey, let's go to Sonic. Okay, that's cool.
Yeah.
But yeah. All right, Coach, keeping it kind of superstitious here. If you're going well and you win one week, do you use the same article of clothing the following week, and does it get washed, or do you rewash clothes, or are you that superstitious?
No way. Obviously, you don't know my wife because that would never happen in my house.
I was gonna say Melissa would not put up with
Melissa won't put up with that. She'll grab it and wash it. You know, I've never really caught into that. I guess a little bit in college, and you know, doing baseball in college, you see these guys doing those things like that. I never really got caught up into that. Anywhere I've been, we did kind of just wash the clothes, and they're hanging up, ready to go for next Friday night. And so, no, I won't wear the same thing.
You have a game day verse, a Bible verse for the game.
I think you know, if I answered that with I had a particular verse, I'd be probably lying to you. I think there's a lot of game day prayers throughout the course of the day. I don't think there's any verse tied to it. I think it's more like, oh, I hope that you've got me, you know, calm down, relaxed, and I hope that, you know, we put these kids in a position to be successful. And obviously you're asking for no injuries and things like that, but there's not a particular verse. It's just a little bit of just, I guess, prayer.
That's the best one. But before I ask another question, Ashley also chimes in. I'm his favorite fan. And she also says, neither will his sister. Clean clothes always. I can contest.
I just want to know, do they put those little beads, you know, like you get those little beads that you put in there? I have to have those, you know, to make it smell so good. Coach be out there, you know, come on, get on it. And then he's like, but it smells so good.
Yeah.
Okay. Go ahead, Troy.
My question. I just want to know, what is the 2022 Ingram Warriors motto this year that we can put on a t-shirt and wear every Friday nights?
So we break out to Made in Ingram, because that's where we're made. We're from Ingram. We're making ourselves known, and we're going to put ourselves on the map, Made in Ingram. So that is our motto. Plain and simple. You know, I get into, well, we're going to do this, that, this. You know, we can get 67 T-shirts printed up with something on it, but it's plain and simple for us. Made in Ingram.
I love
represent your community, represent your family, and this is where we're from, and we're proud to be here.
That is awesome.
Hashtag Made in Ingram, baby.
Coach, you know, you're a humble guy, no question about it. And, you know, every time we have talked to you, it's about, if it's a loss, it's on your coaches and you put it back on yourself. But at the same time, on a win, you're putting it on the boys and how they played and stuff. And so it's just the humbleness that you have. But what we really want to know is what makes Coach Masco Coach Masco?
Well, the first thing is my staff. I can't say enough about them. I got Joel Hinton, who came with me from Reagan. He knows what I'm thinking. We've been together for 6 years, so he knows what I'm thinking before I'm thinking. And, you know, we have a set of probably 3 or 4 plays we never practice during the week, but he knows during the course of a game, if we need a shot, I'm calling that play. He better have those guys ready to run it. And so I can't say enough about him and everything he does. Rick Ragsdale, Derek Brown, and on the offensive staff, they're going to be holdovers from last year. We just hired a David Guzman from Medina Valley who's going to come out and help us with coaching the tight ends. And then on our defensive staff, you know, I can't praise Steve Marbach and Adam Brackeen enough. They keep that thing moving. And then they have Rory Laura, who's our baseball coach, who actually got all these freshmen in the playoffs. He's an outstanding football coach. And we hired another man named Brent Beadle, who's going to be on our staff this year, and he's going to help coach our secondary. And so he's a retired Army guy. So he's bringing a little bit of aspect of leadership. I mean, I was joking. We were on a group text here probably an hour ago, and he's got all this analytics. He spent the last 2 days with the Cowboys, talking with them and stuff. And I'm like, is he going to have one of those notebooks on the sideline telling me you better go for it?
Yeah.
Because the percentages say go for it. If y'all are at that game, I may take that 3-ring binder, and I can get crazy sometimes. I'll throw it up there at y'all, and
There you go.
those guys make us run. I'm just here. Those 8, 9 guys, they make my job so easy, and a lot of them have been willing to move to Ingram and say, you know what, coach, we believe in what you're doing. Let's get this thing straightened out. And I can't say enough about that. And they don't get the praise they deserve. And it goes for the same thing for our girls staff. That's what makes me run. Today, I was talking to the kids in the weight room today we had the girls and the boys together, and I told the girls, you lose a volleyball game on Tuesday night, we all lose because we're Ingram.
That's right.
And it's the first time I've really seen this summer. We've done some competition days and things like that where the boys are cheering on the girls are cheering on the boys. We did some tire fighting today, and we have girls getting pulled all over the stadium, and they're upset and pushing each other along, and the boys are in there getting after it. And so it's a culture, and it goes all the way down. And I'll tell you this, we have the best maintenance guy, Steve, that takes care of our inside of our facilities and our locker room.
Please do tell.
It is absolutely unbelievable. If you walked in here, you could eat off the floors. And so it goes all the way from everybody that's involved in this thing. And, we just hired Bubba Walters to take care of our fields on the outside. Those fields look amazing. So this is not about Tate to Masco. This is about everybody else. And, I've never, and you can ask my coaches, you probably think I'm lying to you. I'll make the final decision, but I don't have all the answers. I don't have all the answers. That's why I hired guys around me that can give me the answers when I don't know them. And so I want guys to put deposits within the staff and build capacity within my staff, because one day if I'm not here, I would expect that somebody would just take the reins and keep running. And so this is a full staff deal, and I can't thank those guys enough. So if you guys are listening, I appreciate you, but I'll see you at 10 in the morning. So we have a staff.
There you go. Hey, we're about ready to run down. There is a couple of quick things, though. First of all, your Ingram All-Star Baseball Little League All-Star team went really deep in the playoffs for the first time in a long time. Rumors had it that, you guys with you and some of the coaches and stuff from the high school going and supporting these kids, and then finding out about the volleyball teams and the Little League basketball teams and stuff that you guys have been supporting. How important is it that you are building a relationship with those youngsters that aren't even in middle school and high school yet for the future of Ingram?
Right. And that's kind of my job. I'm not in charge of those organizations, but I'm the athletic director. So I feel like I've got to have, my hands in all that, and not from a standpoint of, hey, you need to do this, this, and this, but from a standpoint of we're there as support. I can't start naming names of all those guys that have helped us, but there's some guys over there that have laid a foundation for us that now we need to put up some boards. And I think our Little League went from 102 or something last year to 198. We had high participation in Wacky's basketball out here, and we've set up some flag football teams that competed pretty well over in Kerrville last year. And we're actually going to take some of our younger kids and put them more in a 7-on-7 and travel a little bit. Our younger kids are 3rd and 4th graders, and our 5th and 6th graders, we're actually going to travel around a little bit to some different places and play some 7-on-7 against some different competition. So Coach Ragsdale had a camp during the middle of his season for softball. He's always out there at the softball field. I just think it's important for us to be involved in it. And if those kids know who we are, then, we've done our job, and so, we go to the games and we do whatever we need and we help out. We get the fields ready, but that's our job, as coaches in this community. That is our job.
One final question, and I'm sorry, Trey, but I got to take it.
Go ahead. I'm done.
Coach Damasco, there is something that we are really struggling with, because this guy is great at both of these.
Oh, I'm not.
We're talking about Trey,
Okay.
does he need to be in the studios on Friday Night Lights while we're out calling the game of the week, or should he be on the road with us to bring that new flavor?
I think he needs to come on the road. I think the first game y'all have, I think he needs to stand down there by me and do the full-fledged action and, down there with me. But I think, and both of you guys do a tremendous amount for not just around here, but where y'all branch out to. I mean, I listened to Jeremy the other night on here, all the way to Fort Stockton. You got a Refugio baseball shirt on. It's not just about our kids. It's about all the kids out here that y'all promote and you put out there, and you don't realize that, we're fighting a battle right now with getting coaches to coach, and far as, losing coaches and teachers and y'all out there promoting us and kind of having our back. We appreciate that. And kids see that, and our kids know y'all when y'all come up. They know who y'all are. And, it's a big deal for them to get to see you guys. And so we can't thank y'all enough for what y'all do for us and high school football and high school sports in general. So I think Trey needs to come on the road. And then, the only deal I'm going to make with y'all is whenever you want me on this show during the season, the scoreboard show, if we win, I'm going to get a Whataburger and I'm coming to the studio. I'm not calling from that.
Yes, you boom. All right, that's a deal, man.
I need one of those DJ microphones in front of my face with some headphones on like y'all got, and then we can talk about it.
I just want a number 3 water size with a Coke.
He'll eat it too, man. He'll eat it too.
I
will. Yeah.
Well, JR, I think that's 2 votes for me to go on the road. So
I
0.
It's a 0. That's it. I mean, that is it. Well, Coach Damasco, there's so many more things we wanted to ask. And I mean, I know we got to go because, fans are just going crazy after 30 minutes. But, I mean, there's so many. What I enjoy and what I like is that your dad was a coach. He coached me. He's coaching you not only in life as a son, but at the same time as a coach.
Sure.
But then you've got all your friends that you kind of went with, like with the Hinton boys and the Ragsdale boys and all those, that you grew up with. It's got to be an awesome bond between all of y'all. And then do the wives go out and have bonding night, and stuff like that, so that they make sure that there's no,
Yeah, I think my wife, Coach Hinton's wife, are pretty close contact a lot. In fact, there's a lot of times I get home and the kids are there and they're like, where are they at? Well, they've gone out to do whatever. So, yeah, I mean, it's a good deal. And before we go, I mean, you use names like, obviously my dad's been a big influence growing up in a field house and being around it and wanting to be a part of coaching, and so he's the greatest influence. But you use names like Neil LaHue. You use names like Julius Scott.
Yeah.
You use names like Mark Smith, who I never worked for, but has gone out of his way to help me in whatever I can in my career. And Lyndon Hamilton at Reagan, you use those names. And the last one that's had a big influence on me is John Campbell. He's at Brandeis Madison. Now he's at Vela with winning everything. But you use, you Coach LaHue, Coach Scott, and those guys that coached me in high school. I got a little piece of them in me every time I go out there. This year Steve Rippey standing on my sidelines a couple games.
Oh man, that's a
so. All those guys had tremendous influence on me and made me want to do this. And so I can't thank them enough.
Yeah. Okay. So one last thing real quick. Then we got to go for sure. Is it you or Melissa? Who's the better table tennis player?
Oh, definitely me. Since Melissa can't respond, I'll just tell you, I took her out in beach volleyball a couple weeks ago down in Port Aransas. A pretty big crowd, gathering around, and I took her out in beach volleyball. There's been several wars in the driveway over basketball, but JR, I'll be honest, and I'll say it: the best athlete in our house is my wife. I can tell you that. So, a wise man once told me, "Marry up, don't marry down." Well, I married way up. So she's the best athlete in the house. So if she's watching, I won't get chewed out when I get home, but she is.
Now, she was phenomenal back in the day for sure. And just everything that she is doing in life. I mean, Trey, she's one that we could bring on, and just there's so much that we could talk to Melissa about. It's crazy.
Well, Terry Petre says Melissa would not agree with you. So
Yeah, well,
Sure. Yeah, no.
that's
Tate-
why, because I know Melissa's at volleyball practice right now, so she can't reply back. So sometimes you got to be smart.
There you
Maybe
go.
we should take Kill Country Nation on the road to the Damasco house and see them on these matches.
Well,
we
that's
did-
but that's the last question. Is that we and honestly, we didn't even think about it. I didn't even think about it till now. But Coach, the rumor is you're a foodie. You're a foodie. There's something that you just got to have in the house. Come on,
Are you going with the popcorn?
popcorn,
Oh,
man.
yes, I remember that.
We
Yes,
already knew
yes.
that, but to confirm it, man, I tell you what, it didn't matter what kind of popcorn you're eating it.
Yeah.
Midnight calls in the radio station. I'm just eating my popcorn watching game.
But is that the truth?
Of course.
Is that true?
I do. My wife's got a particular set of popcorn, so I've got to. Again, she's not listening. I got to sneak it when she's not looking. If she knows I'm eating it, she's getting mad, and I generally blame it on Ty. Ty's eating it. I saw him eating it, and so
Yeah.
I stay clear. But now the secret's out, thanks to you and JR and Trey.
No
You owe me
That's
one.
what we're here for.
Yeah. Well, we'll have to go to Whataburger or something together. Then that'll be all right. Hey, when the rumor comes across, we just got to ask.
I got you.
Coach
mad.
Damasco, thank you.
Yes,
Thank
sir.
you. Thank
Thank
you
you,
so
Coach.
much. We look forward to Ingram Friday Night Lights and games of the week that we are going to have with you guys. We're so looking forward to that. And then, of course, week 2, the Comfort game, that is already a done deal. Comfort and Ingram as our game 2 game of the week. We don't miss Highway 27 whatsoever. But, man, we really appreciate the way that you have brought Ingram to, and not just the kids and the school, but the fans. I mean, you're getting fans from Kerrville. You know, everybody's stepping up to be an Ingram. The only thing that I got to say for the Ingramites over there is paint the town. That's
Paint
it.
it red.
Paint it there. Boom. Coach, thank you so much. We appreciate you. And, man, look forward to seeing you again and talking to you soon.
Yes, sir. Thank you very much.
Give you a fist bump. Boom. There we go. All right, everybody. That was Coach Tate Damasco of the Ingram Warriors. And, hey, thank you so much for staying 9 minutes over. I can't help it, man. There's so much we could talk to Coach Tate Damasco about. It's crazy. I want to thank Jam Broadcasting for letting us be here in the studio with our flags of fame. Yeah, we do got the Ingram one back there, as you can see. And I didn't want to tell Coach, but the reason why I'm wearing Refugio and Carrizo Springs is we need some Ingram merch like bad, so we can display it as well. All right, that's going to do it for another episode on episode 5 of Hill Country Nation Sports Wrap Up. We will be back on Tuesday, whereas we start the Tuesday edition of the Hill Country Sports Wrap Up. Not sure who we're going to get. I know Coach Zenner's already bogered out twice, so we're going to have to try to get him a third time. All right, that's going to do it. Just for everybody, remember, we are out of here. God bless. Good night.